Good morning to everyone. I hope you all are safe at home and following the precautionary measures given by the government. Let us start our session with the today's objectives. Observe the slide. By the end of today's class, you will be able to define chemistry, explain about the branches of chemistry, and you will be able to differentiate between physical and biological sciences, and also you will appreciate the central role of chemistry in our society. Let me ask you one or two questions. First, tell me, why do you go to school daily? Maybe your answer is to get the knowledge. Then is it enough to get only knowledge by going school? Definitely not. Now let me tell you one example. Think that I know everything about acids and bases. I know the knowledge, I have the knowledge about acid and bases, but when one chemical is given to me, that is like example, if this bottle is there and which chemical it is I don't know, and suppose it is given to me and said to find out whether it is an acid or base, if I am not able to find out it, then what is the use of such knowledge? So we should have knowledge and we should be able to apply that knowledge. It is very necessary. And one more example also I want to tell you. Look at the board. Suppose if I ask anybody, that is what is a plus b whole square in mathematics, everybody will be able to say, okay, the answer is a square plus b square plus 2ab. But whereas suppose if I ask you find out 101 whole square, that is 101 square, then if you are not able to solve the problem with the help of that formula, then there is no use of that knowledge. Now let us see, observe the slide, we will see what is knowledge first. See, observe the slide. Knowledge is familiarity, awareness or understanding something or someone through experience or education. And already we said knowledge is not enough. We have to apply that knowledge in critical situations, and that is called intelligence. So see, intelligence definition also we have given. So that is, intelligence is the ability to apply the knowledge and skills. And not only intelligence, sometimes we should be clever and sometimes we should be wiser and sometimes we should be critical thinker. So these all qualities should be there in our mind, and we are going to school also to get the knowledge, okay, but apart from the knowledge, we have to gain like these qualities also, like intelligence, critical thinker, and clever. We should be clever and we should be wiser. Now we are going to school and we are learning all the subjects like Telugu, Hindi, English, Maths, Science, Social, all the subjects we are studying and we are getting the knowledge. In that, one subject is there which is science. Now we will concentrate on science. Now tell me, what is the difference between science and other subjects? Any difference is there or not in science and other subjects? So let me tell you one thing. In science we have some experiments, and in remaining all subjects we don't have any experiments. So that's why we can say the definition of science as, observe the slide, we are giving the definition of science, a system of acquiring knowledge through experimentation and observation. A system of acquiring knowledge through experimentation and observation means in science only we will get experiments and also observations. These two things will be there in only science. Other than science, in any other subject we won't find any experiments and observations. So that's why we will say we are getting knowledge only. From science also we are getting knowledge, but so we are doing some experiments and we are observing that one. So this is science. And next we will go for branches of science. So once observe the slide, we have some branches of science here. That is, first one is natural science. Now what is mean by natural science is the study of natural phenomena. So in nature whatever is occurring, that is called as natural phenomena, and if you are studying about that natural phenomena, that is called as natural science. And second one, that is social science. Now what is social science is the study of human behavior and societies. And next third one, formal science, the study of mathematics and logics. And last fourth one we have applied science. Now what is applied science is, already what we have the knowledge about natural, social and formal sciences, we will apply here and we will go for more practicals. Like example, you can take medicine. If you think about medicine, that is MBBS, so you will apply there all the sciences. Like natural science means you will apply biological science in this, and next you will apply on humanity only, and next you will apply some mathematics. Like example, how much dose we have to give, 500 mg or 200 mg, what we have to give. So we will use their formal science also. Now next, we will go for branches of natural science. One see here, so there are more branches, but for example here we have given only, we have concentrated on only two branches, that is first one is biological science and second one is physical science. Now natural science is divided into two, that is biological science and second one is physical science. Now what is biological science and physical science? Let us take first biological science. Now what is mean by biological science means the study of living things. If you are studying about living things like plants and animals, then it is considered as biological science. And second one, physical science, if you are studying about non-living things, then it is considered as physical science. Now again here we have two branches, that is first one in biological science we have botany and zoology. Now what is botany is? Botany is study about plants. If you are studying about plants, it is considered as botany, and if you are studying about animals, then it is considered as zoology. And next, physical science is also divided into two parts. One is called physics and second one is chemistry. Now what is physics and what is chemistry is, so here in physics and chemistry both we will study about matter only, but here we will concentrate on its motion, matter and its motion. And if you see chemistry, so here we will concentrate on changes. So now this is brief classification of natural science. It is classified into two, that is biological science, physical science. Again biological science is classified into two, that is botany, zoology, and physical science is classified into two, that is physics and chemistry. Now we will concentrate on chemistry. So our topic is now chemistry. Now we will see deeply what is chemistry. Now only I said, so chemistry also deals with matter. Now let us take first what is matter we have to know. Suppose, see here in my hand I have one duster and it is having some mass. Yes, definitely it has some mass, and when I place somewhere it is, so it will occupy some place also, that is it is having some volume. And if any object is having mass and volume, that is mass and it is occupying some space, it is considered as volume. So if these two things are there, then it is considered as matter. So matter is anything which has mass and volume. So now you can take any object, so it is considered as matter only. Now we will go for chemistry. Now what is chemistry? So once observe the slide, we have clear definition here, chemistry definition, that is the study of, first thing, composition, second, structure, third, properties. Means if any matter is given to you or object is given to you, So we have to study about its composition, its structure and its properties, then it is considered as chemistry. Now let us take one example and we will see what is chemistry, how it is useful. Now let us see. So in my hand one bottle is there, in that water is there. We know water. Let us take first water as an example. Now what is the formula? Formula is H2O, and first thing we will see what is the composition. Now what is the composition? Composition means which elements we have in that and how much quantity it has. Let us take formula H2O. Now H2O, in H2O we have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Now it is considered as hydrogen and oxygens are present in 2:1 ratio. So this is called as its composition. And second one, structure. When you go for structure of water, we will draw the structure like this, and this is called as angular, or you can say bent shape. Next, third one, we will go with properties. Now what are the properties of water? So properties means here we will get 2 types of properties. First one, it is called physical properties, and second one, chemical properties. Now what are the physical properties means? By seeing what we can say. So water, colorless will be there, so it is its physical property. And if you taste it, so pure water, if you taste it, it will be tasteless. And next, its boiling point will be 100 degrees Celsius. That is, if you want to boil it, so it will boil at 100 degrees Celsius. So it will boil at 100 degrees Celsius. And if you want to freeze it, so freezing point is 0 degrees Celsius. Now like this, these are called as its physical properties. And if you go for chemical properties, so it will react with sodium metal. So if you add sodium metal and water, so it will give hydrogen gas. So that is called as chemical property. So we have to balance it. So this is the reaction. So when it reacts with sodium metal, so it will give hydrogen gas. And one more chemical property, it can act as amphoteric substance. Now what is mean by amphoteric substance is, so it can react with acid and bases. Means if you take water, it can react with acid, and if you take water, it can also react with base. Means it is having like dual nature. So it can react with anything, either acid or base. That is considered as amphoteric in nature. Now like this, if you take any one substance, we have to study about these all, that is composition, structure and properties, and sometimes we have to study about applications also. Now what are the applications of water? We know in daily life we are using water, for drinking purpose we are using, and next for washing purpose also we are using, for agriculture purpose also we will use water. So these are called as applications of water. So like this, if you are studying about composition, structure, properties and applications of matter, then it is considered as chemistry. Now this is one example. Now we will go in detail about chemistry where we are using. So in our daily life we are using more chemistry, but we will think that chemistry means only laboratory and research work. When somebody give you chemistry word, then immediately in our mind laboratory will come and again research work will come. But we don't think that. So chemistry we are using in our daily life also. Now we will see one by one examples. So observe the slide, we have more examples. So first let us take in our body what we have. So if you observe our body, so observe the slide. So inside the body we have, our body itself is made up of total chemicals. So first thing is, it is made up of some elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. These 4 elements only we have 95 to 96% in our body, and remaining 4% we have other 60 elements. Nearly about 60 elements we have only 4%. Like example, calcium we have in our body, iron we have, so zinc we have, like this. Other elements we have only 4%, but only these 4 elements, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, we have up to 96% in our body. Means our body is itself is made up of some chemicals and elements. Now second picture, if you observe in slide, so it is about DNA and RNA. Maybe you have heard these words, that is DNA, RNA. So our total body is we have DNA and RNA in our body, and they are also made up of some chemicals only. And also we have bones, that is third picture we have. So bones also are made up of calcium phosphate, means there also we are getting calcium, phosphorus, like that. And next in our body we have some amino acids and proteins and lipids also, and they are also definitely they are also made up of chemicals only. And if you see next one, we have hemoglobin in our blood. So it is also made up of some chemicals only. You are seeing the structure in slide, hemoglobin structure. So here I want to tell you one thing about hemoglobin. If you ask any biologist what is the reason behind the red color of the blood, then definitely he will answer you that is the reason is hemoglobin. But if you ask to any chemist, he will go inside, deeply inside of the hemoglobin. If you observe the slide, so in that hemoglobin structure is given, and in that in middle we have iron. So in hemoglobin structure also we will get iron there, and in iron we have some electrons, and these electrons will absorb some energy, colors, and it will reflect red color. Red color will be reflected. So hence we are getting that red color to the blood. Now this is the explanation from chemistry part, but if you go for biology part, only simply we will say the reason is hemoglobin. But if you go for chemistry in detail, then again we will enter into hemoglobin structure and we will reach up to iron, and in iron also we will see the electrons. Then we will say that why that red color is there, means that electrons of iron will absorb some light and they will reflect red light, so that's why it is having in red color. And similarly another one picture is there, that is digestion. Maybe you know this one also. So in our body, so in stomach, so daily HCl will be produced, that is called as gastric juice or gastric acid, and which is helpful in the digestion process. It is also one chemical. And next very interesting one is next slide, next picture you see, there we have some emotions, and here we are connecting chemistry to emotions also. How means whatever emotions or feelings we are getting, that is due to hormones and neurotransmitters which is released in our mind. So for example, I have given there one picture. So in that picture, from mind, from brain, whatever neurotransmitters are releasing, it is given there. So like a dopamine, so like that, so serotonin, so like that they are given. So they are the reasons for our emotions also, means our emotions also due to some chemicals which is released in our brain. So see once next, so this is about our body, and next we will go with outside the body what we are using. Now outside the body means, so simply it is in the society. Now what we are using in the society, just look at the slide. So outside of the society, when you are going with agriculture part, so in agriculture we will use fertilizers and pesticides. Now fertilizers, now why we will use these fertilizers? To simply to improve the fertility in the plants and also to give nutrients to the plants. So that's why we are using fertilizers. In pictures we have given ammonium nitrate, urea and superphosphate of lime. These all are called as super fertilizers. And next in agriculture only we will use pesticides also. Now why we will use these pesticides? So pesticides, they will kill the pest, that is insects or whatever unwanted plants will be there. So they will kill that one. So that's why it is called as pesticides. Some examples are given there, that is Gamaxin is there, DDT is there. So they are called as pesticides. And here whatever we are using in agriculture, that is fertilizers and pesticides, they are also chemicals. So in agriculture we are using chemicals. And here I want to take some more examples which we are using in our homes also. Like example, pesticides only, but we are using in our homes to kill the mosquitoes, rats, like that. So for example, we are using All Out, Good Night, Hit. So these all are also called as pesticides, but we are using in our homes. And simply next go for third picture, that is food. Now whatever food we are taking, that is maybe it is carbohydrates or water or fats, proteins. So whatever we are taking, they are all are made up of chemicals only. And let us take one more example, that is air. And air also, we know already air, in air we have chemicals like gases, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. So all gases we have, they are also chemicals, and we are breathing oxygen from air, so which is also a chemical. And next one, clothes. We are using clothes, we are wearing clothes, these are all also made up of chemicals only. Like artificial clothes, if you take fibers like rayon, nylon, polyester, acrylic, they all are made up of chemicals only. So next, if you go for next more examples, so we have medicines. Now whatever we are taking medicines to cure the diseases, they all are chemicals only. They all are chemicals. Like example, we have given there paracetamol we will use for fever, and the second one aspirin we will use for to reduce the pain, and next Digene is there which is used in used as antacid, that is for stomach pain. And next one, we are using soaps and detergents at our home, so they are all also made up of chemicals. And next, in construction part, if you are constructing any building, we will use all the material like bricks, cement, glass, mortar we will use. So these all are also made up of chemicals. And if you see next one, that is we are using paints, dyes, inks, these all are chemicals only. Paints, dyes, inks, these all are made up of chemicals. And next one, cosmetics. So in our daily life we will use cosmetics like powder, so we will use face wash creams, fairness creams, or nail polish. So whatever we will use, they all are made up of chemicals only. And also we will use perfumes, so that perfumes are also chemical. Means here we are giving number of examples which we are using in our daily life and which are made up of chemicals only. Now let us take one more example, that is plastics or polythene bags. So these all are chemicals only, made up of chemicals. And next slide, we are having some petroleum. And whatever petroleum products we are using, so nowadays that is like a diesel, kerosene, petrol, right, oil, or you can say CNG, LPG, whatever we are using, they all are made up of petroleum, and petroleum is itself as a chemical. And next one, we are using metals in our daily life, and these are also all are considered as elements only. Metals are also elements, like example gold we are using, silver we are using, copper we are using in our home. For wiring purpose, for electricity purpose we are using, and to make the jewelries we are using. So these all are we are using, and if you observe, these all will come in our daily life, and these all are made up of chemicals only. Means we are trying to say here is the chemistry is the central role. It is playing a central role or key role in the society. That is everywhere, wherever you want to go, so you will get some chemistry or chemicals only. So these are the some examples we have given for chemistry. So like this, more number of examples you can also find out in your daily life, and we will go for now what are the branches of chemistry. Now observe the slide. So before going to branches of science, so let me explain you about our periodic table. So that is, in our periodic table, if you observe the slide, we have total 118 elements, in which we have carbon is one of the element, and it is having some special properties like catenation property, that is called as catenation. Now what is catenation is the linkage of atoms of same elements. Like example, if you take carbon, so it can bond with carbon in any direction. We can go like this or like this, again like this. So it can form bonds with number of carbons one by one. And next, again another one is it can form multiple bonds also, like double bond also we may exist, and we can write triple bond also. So like this, more number of compounds are possible for carbon. And the next one, now due to these special properties like catenation and forming multiple bonds, we are studying this chemistry, the carbon chemistry. It is called as organic chemistry separately. Now observe the slide. We have branches of chemistry. There are majorly we have 4 branches, in which first one is organic chemistry, and second one is inorganic chemistry, third one, physical chemistry, and fourth one analytical chemistry. So if you see first one organic chemistry, the study of carbon and its compounds. Now only we said carbon is a special properties we have. So that's why if you study only carbon and its compounds separately, then it is considered as organic chemistry. And remaining whatever elements we have, in that somewhere carbon also may come, because carbon will exist in both. In carbon can act as organic chemistry also it will come, and in inorganic chemistry also, inorganic compounds also we have. And the elements, remaining whatever elements we have, if you are studying about that elements and their properties, that is considered as inorganic chemistry. And next, physical chemistry is if you are applying any physical concepts like electricity. If you take electricity, it is a physical concept, and if you apply this electricity to chemistry, that is called as electrochemistry, then we will study in physical chemistry. And similarly, we have analytical chemistry. Now what is analytical is, if any compound is given to you, we have to identify and we have to separate and we have to quantification of the components. Means, so we have to identify the components first, and then we have to separate them, and we have to quantification, means in how much quantity it has, we have to decide that one. That is called as analytical chemistry. Now if you see, one scientist is there, that is Wöhler. He is called as father of modern organic chemistry. Why? Because he synthesized urea compound from an inorganic compound. Means from one inorganic compound, that is ammonium cyanate, so he synthesized urea and it is an organic compound. So that's why it is considered, he is considered as the father of organic chemistry. Now let us see other branches also we have, like biochemistry, photochemistry, electrochemistry, nanochemistry, but we are concentrating on only these 4 types of chemistry. Now next slide, if you observe, we have some inorganic compounds which we use in our daily life. Like example, already some of the compounds we have explained now, like water, it is an inorganic compound. And second picture, if you see, that is salt, NaCl, so we will use in food. And next, third one, that is baking soda also we will use. So like this, some examples are given: washing soda, antacid, and whatever close-up or Colgate, whatever toothpaste you are using, in that also some chemicals will be there. And next, boric acid. Next one, bleaching powder. So like this, we have inorganic compounds we are using in our daily life. Similarly, we have some organic compounds also. So like example, glucose we will use daily. So glucose or sugar also, it is an organic compound. And vinegar we are using at our home, that is also one organic compound. And ethanol or urea, whatever we are using at fields, so they are also organic compounds. And at our home we are using LPG cylinders, so they are also organic compounds. Now, so these are all, so more examples are there, you can work out on that. Now we are going with a project, so you have to do the project. So for juniors, 6th to 7th class students, collect the information about the contributions of any of the scientists, whatever you like from science. So like Anton Lavoisier is there, or Wöhler is there, or you can take any of the scientists. It's your choice, you can take any one scientist from science field, and you have to collect the contributions and information about that scientist. And second thing, for senior students, you have to think about more about chemistry in our daily life activities. Now we said some examples, you have to think more about chemistry where we are using in our daily life, and you have to do a project work, and you have to submit a report. And at last, I want to tell you just thanks for watching, and stay home, stay safe. So wear mask and maintain physical distance. Thank you.